Property as follows. Parcel ID 29-37-34-00-286 and 29-37-34-00287, and more particularly described in this ordinance, from AU, agricultural residential, to BU1A, restricted neighborhood retail commercial, providing for an amendment of the official zoning map, providing an effective date. The rezoning is number Z 2024-04. Jason?
The second reading of the rezoning ordinance number 2024-09 is being reheard as a result of the mediation held on July 15th, 2025, whereby the town merely agreed to allow the property owners to request a rehearing of the second reading of ordinance number 2024-09 in light of the fact that the previous applicant is no longer involved with the rezoning and the light amendment to the previous town code, removing convenience stores with or without gas pumps from the BU1A zoning classification. The second reading of ordinance number 2024-09 rezoning request is being reheard to allow for commercial use of property under the newly adopted code. The subject properties are located at the intersection of Babcock Street and Grant Road. The requested rezoning is consistent with the town's comprehensive plan. The properties currently abut property zoned AU to the south and east. The AU agricultural residential zoning classification encompasses lands devoted to agricultural pursuits in a single-family residential development of spacious character. The BU1A's restricted neighborhood retail commercial zoning classification encompasses lands devoted to the limited retail shopping and personal services to serve the needs of nearby low-density residential neighborhoods. All construction shall conform to the commercial overlay zone supplemental regulations. Staff has no adverse comments regarding this request. The Planning and Zoning Board denied this request on Monday, October 28th, 2024, 3-1. At the time P&Z conducted its review, convenience stores with or without gas pumps were allowed as a potential use in the BU1A zoning classification. Town Council approved first reading on Wednesday, November 13th, 2024 for 4-2. Town Council denied the second reading under the old code Wednesday, February 12th, 2025, 6-0.
Thank you. Okay, this is a quasi-judicial proceeding, so we're going to need the council to disclose whether you have spoken either to the applicant or to a member of the public about this subject. So let me start with Mike.
Like names or no?
Yeah, names.
Okay. Yeah, so I spoke to Ned yesterday, so a member of the public, and that's it.
Just briefly, what was the subject matter of the discussion?
It was about today's thing, for the commercial change to BU1.
I also was contacted through Ned today on the same subject on the hearing today. And I also talked with Mark Rio on the same subject.
Go ahead.
I've had no discussion with anyone.
Okay. Go down this way. Brent.
I've had no discussion with anyone. I had a discussion with Robert Johnson. He's on the zoning board. Same subject.
I had a discussion with Ned, but we mainly talked about the town and how it became a town. And of course, my neighbor Karen was across the street, and I had a discussion with her.
And I would disclose that I did also have a discussion with Karen Tabor. She came to town hall, and she just needed an explanation of the rezoning process. So we discussed that with her. Okay. All right. So now I just want to go over the order of tonight's procedures. First, we're going to hear from our attorneys, and then we're going to hear from the applicant, and then we're going to have public comments. Each person will have 3 minutes per our policy for rezoning. Then we'll hear from the attorney again, and then we'll come back to the council for reconsideration and discussion and take action.
So do you mind if I interrupt real quick? Do you know if we have any more chairs in the back for people that are standing over here? Okay, I just figured it's going to be a long time standing there if you guys are just going to have to be standing there for 2 hours.
I go get them.
Okay, half an hour, 40 minutes.
pile of chairs.
Okay. All right, try to be quiet. All right, Carl Bone is our town attorney.
Thank you. I may just reiterate what has already been said, but as you recall, we had a second reading of ordinance number 2024-09, which was the second reading of the rezoning for the subject property. We had the public hearing, and at the public hearing, yeah, I'll wait.
And if you could talk into the microphones, it makes a huge difference.
I am talking.
All right, yeah, it helps when you did that, but everybody.
The applicant's rezoning request was denied for their failure to present for consideration all of the criteria we have in section 20-1511 for rezoning. And just to be clear, those are the specific 5 criteria that the council must consider for the rezoning. I understand there may be other tangential things that the council will be asked to consider, but from the last discussions we had at that second reading hearing, a lot of that can be addressed at the site planning issue if an owner wants to come in and develop the site. So we're just focusing on those 5 criteria. And the 5 criteria are for consideration. It's not a function of proof or anything like that. Those criteria have to be addressed so the council can consider those criteria in determining the appropriateness of the rezoning of this property. As Jason did state, the property does have a future land use designation which would allow commercial, which I understand was similar to the county's designation when we became a town. So we basically just followed that that process forward. We had public hearings on the adoption of our comp plan, both workshops and public hearings. So, those grounds for keeping the property a certain use and commercial designation in the comp plan were discussed. I am going to now turn this portion of the attorney discussion over to Mr. Parker Watts. He's with the law firm of Dean Rainers, Morgan and Lawton. They are hired by our insurance company as defense counsel for us. Mr. Watts does represent the town and is hired on to basically defend the town in this claim that was made by the applicants. And I'm going to let Mr. Watts describe the process under Florida Statute 70.51 in more detail and basically tell the audience and the council why we're here today. So Mr. Watts, I turn it over to you.
Thank
He's the only one wearing a suit.
you. I'll go to the microphone.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. As Carl said, my name is Parker Watts, and I'm the outside counsel for the town in regards to this matter. And I'll be brief, but I will explain why we're here and why we're all assembled here again. So a request for relief was filed by the applicants under Florida Statute 70.51, and that requires the town to undergo two processes. We're in the first process, where there would be an informal mediation, and that was conducted, and that got us to here. And then if the mediation is unsuccessful, then there would be a hearing in front of a special magistrate, and that would happen down the road. So what happened next is we went to that mediation, and the recommendation that I'm making, and was made by town staff at the time, was to allow the applicants to have their application reconsidered. It was being reconsidered under the new town ordinance, 2025-01, so convenience stores with and without pumps are not part of their application because it's not part of the B1A category anymore. So with that in mind, we are here to have them reconsider their application, and they have a presentation. So that's how we got back to where we are today, and I will turn it over to the applicant's counsel to make their presentation.
Sir,
No.
the 5 criteria.
You'll have your opportunity. to
Okay.
public
Well,
comment.
we don't know what they are.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. My name is Rebecca Roden, and I'm with Lowndes, Drosdick, Doster, Cantor, and Reed in Orlando, and we have the privilege of representing the owners of the property. As an initial matter, tonight I am here on behalf of Kelly McMahon and her brother Matthew Oldenkamp, who are the property owners of the property that is at issue tonight. In fact, the property that is at issue tonight has been owned by their family for many decades. It has been in their family for a very long time. I know we're all very familiar with the property, but this is where it's at. It's located at the corner of Grant and Babcock. It is approximately 2.43 acres, and as I just mentioned, it is owned by Kelly and Matt, who are here with me tonight. Go to the next one. The property's future land use category is local commercial. This is the category that was established by the town's comprehensive plan. That category is not being changed by the request before the council tonight. The property's current zoning classification is AU, which is an agricultural zoning classification. What we are requesting tonight is a change to BU1A, which is a restricted neighborhood retail commercial zoning classification. So that is the request. That's before council tonight. Kelly and Matt, the property owners, are requesting a rezoning from AU agriculture to BU1A, which is the local commercial. Next slide, please. Code section 20-1151 sets forth the criteria that need to be satisfied in order to rezone the property. Next slide, please. The first consideration is the character of the land of the property surrounding the property being considered. The property is surrounded by other properties with the same future land use designation of a local commercial and residential. Note that 3 corners opposite this property are in the Palm Bay area. Next slide, please. The second consideration is the change in conditions of the land use of the property being considered and the surrounding property since the establishment of the current applicable zoning classification. While not within the jurisdictional limits of Grand Valkaria, the other 3 corners of the intersection are anticipated to be developed with more intense commercial uses than what is contemplated in the requested BU1A zoning designation. The third consideration is the impact of the proposed zoning classification on available and projected traffic patterns, water and sewer systems, other public facilities and utilities, and the established character of the surrounding area. First, with respect to traffic, Brevard County has retained Kimley Horn to analyze the existing, which is the 2025, and the future year 2045 traffic conditions at the intersection of Babcock Street and Grant Road. The result of this study as of June of 2025 is they are going to recommend that a traffic signal be installed to control the traffic at this intersection. Although the study was independent of the proposed rezoning, the implementation of the traffic signal will minimize any impact to the projected traffic patterns that result from the proposed zoning classification of BU1A. Second, there are no impacts to the town on water, sewer, fire, or police. Water will be provided by a well. Sewer will be provided by septic. The power will be provided by Florida Power and Light, and the fire and police will be provided by Brevard County. The fourth consideration is the compatibility of the proposed zoning classification with the existing land use plans for the affected area. The future land use policy 2.2 states that local commercial development activities are intended to be low impact in nature and serve the needs of the immediate residential area. Intrusion of these land uses into the surrounding residential area shall be limited. Existing BU1A uses that were in the Brevard County zoning ordinance, which were established as of the adoption date of the future land use element, shall be considered consistent with this policy. As we saw earlier, the local commercial future land use is surrounded by residential with varying levels of density. The proposed zoning classification is consistent with this policy because of the low impact nature of the BU1A uses that will serve the surrounding residential areas. The final consideration is the appropriateness of the zoning classification based upon a consideration of the applicable provisions and conditions contained in this article and other applicable laws, ordinances, regulations relating to zoning and land use regulations based upon a consideration of public health, safety, and welfare. First, the requested rezoning classification is consistent with the town's comprehensive plan. Section 20-1255 of the code contains a table showing which zoning designations are compatible with the LC future land use. As you can see from this chart, the BU1A classification that's being requested here tonight is the only zoning district that is automatically compatible with the LC future land use designation. It is the only one. The descriptions of the LC future land use designation and the BU1A zoning category demonstrate their compatibility. The purpose of the LC future land use has been said to be that development activities are intended to be low impact in nature and serve the needs of the immediate residential area. Intrusion of these land uses into surrounding residential areas shall be limited. Similarly, the purpose of the BU1A zoning is that it is a restricted neighborhood retail commercial zoning classification encompassing lands devoted to limited retail shopping and personal services to serve the needs of the nearby low-density residential neighborhoods. These two purposes demonstrate that the BU1A zoning classification is tailored to accomplish the purpose of the LC future land use designation. Further demonstrating the consistency of the BU1A with the LC future land use designation is Future Land Use Policy 2.3, which provides that locational and development criteria for local commercial land uses are as follows. A, local commercial clusters should be located along major roadways as well as at intersections except as otherwise provided for in this comprehensive plan. All access to the parcel shall be from major roadways. B, new local commercial land use sites should not exceed more than 3 acres at each corner of an intersection and along Babcock Street frontage. Local commercial land uses at such intersections should not exceed total of 8 acres. C, the gross floor area of the local commercial complexes should not exceed 7,000 square feet. And D, transition from higher intensity commercial to residential. This property satisfies these criteria. The size of the land is compatible as it does not exceed 3 acres, which also includes 2 parcels. The property is on a major roadway and would provide a transition from higher intensity commercial to residential. So I know there has been a lot of discussion about what could be developed on the property if it is rezoned as requested here tonight. First, it is important to recognize that no development is being considered or approved tonight. Tonight we are simply seeking a rezoning of the property. If the property is ultimately going to be developed in the future, such development will have to satisfy all of the town's land development regulations. These are the current BU1 permitted uses, which, as you know, they were limited by Ordinance 2501, which was adopted in June of 2025. So in the event that the property is ultimately developed in the future, such development is limited to the uses that are under this new ordinance. But as I said, the town is not approving any actual development of the property tonight. Finally, when the town's staff reviewed the request, it found that the requested rezoning met all of the requirements in the zoning classification as well as the future land use. It found that the rezoning request will allow the owner the privilege of all allowable uses in the BU1A zoning category, which consists of neighborhood commercial uses that are compatible with the character of nearby low-density residential neighborhoods. There were no adverse comments from the staff. Accordingly, Kelly and Matt, as the property owners, respectfully request that the council vote to approve the rezoning application number Z-2024-04. I'm happy to answer any questions, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Questions right now, or we'll go ahead and go to the public, okay? Okay, now, you want to let the public, want to hear your comments, so raise your hand, and you can come up, and please speak only on this item, only on this rezoning. Then, there's a 3-minute time limit.
2 minute?
3.
3 minute. Okay.
For zoning.
Don't hit that button until I get started.
Like you did last time.
Okay, here we are there, Grant Valkaria. It's Netbatch Glupo from Grant Road coming at you again to perform my civic duty and exercise my First Amendment rights of free speech, peaceful public assembly, and most importantly, the right of the people to petition the government for redress of grievances. And I'll redact this part about Mussolini. February 12th this year, the people on Grant Road had over 1,000 signatures against the rezoning for commercial development on rural 2-lane Grant Road. On August 18th, we started a new petition against this third effort by the developers to rezone farmland to build a commercial corridor on Grant Road where we call our home. Almost 500 people have signed the petition in less than a month. This ordinance is wildly unpopular on Grant Road. Any commercial on Grant Road will go against the character of our town and our town charter. Rezoning from agricultural to commercial future use requires several qualifications. One of them is the community needs, another is growth projection, another is the infrastructure. We are on a 2-lane road. We do not have that infrastructure, and we cannot widen Grant Road. Palm Bay must step up to the plate first and start their own little commercial bonanza on their side, put up the stoplight, widen the thing to 4 lanes. At this time, there is no development of any kind within the vicinity of this area. Rezoning does not meet future use rezoning qualifications. This is an area of heavily forested wilderness and the home to protected species such as gopher tortoise, scrub jay, and among other wildlife. The people of Grant Road live here to enjoy a peaceful country lifestyle. Commercial development will cause a major increase in traffic and crime. There is not one person on Grant Road who is in favor of this development. Any type of retail store will bring homeless people to camp in our woods, and commercial development will precipitate more traffic on our 2-lane country road. I have personally met and spoken with several people living in the immediate adjacent homes surrounding the proposed commercial district, and they are adamantly against it. I'm also representing Andrew Benhassi, who is working. Some of us have jobs. My brother, Greg, who is working. He's in the North Sea, off the coast of England right now. My mother, who is at home, she has COPD and can barely breathe, so she could not come down here and talk. And I'm also representing other friends and neighbors who I've spoken to who just don't want to, get in the mix here. Some of them are afraid of you guys. They think you're going to send your little code enforcement person over their houses if they cross tracks with you. Luckily, I don't think I'll have that problem. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Come up and state your name.
Y'all know me. Name's Joseph Gravask for the record. I've been here for a long time. You haven't been Mr. Red. You haven't been Mike. The rest of you, I don't even know why you're still here. You have done nothing but to destroy this town. It's the village of Grant, the village of Valkaria. This proposal only contributes to that. Your little private meetings, deciding what you're going to do, and having these fake public hearings like, oh, we're going to consider what the public's impact is. It's all BS. But I'm here, I'm going to tell you, I oppose this. Not only do I oppose this, but I'm working on litigation against each one of you individually to sue you in a class action lawsuit. Not only that, I'm looking to, through legal process, revoke your charter through the legal process. Anybody interested who owns the land in Grant, you may contact me. My phone number is 321-361-0767. I dare you to send code enforcement after with like you have harassed my neighbors because I spoke out against the illegal activities you've done. You sitting there, Lisette, as mayor, who voted you for you? Under Court Warner too. Who voted for you? Rick, who voted for you?
This isn't part of the agenda.
It's not part of the agenda, but it is because it affects the people of Grant. The rezoning affects the people of Grant, and that's what I'm speaking about. The landowners have been abused by you while you've been lining your pockets, molesting the historical drainage ditches, and this change would only impact on those historical drainages, causing flooding where you collect wetland fees to pocket your pockets. So anybody interested in vacating Grant Valkaria as a town, contact me because the legal process is already underway. I have nothing further to say.
Thank you. Anyone else? Come on up.
Forgive me, I broke the glasses on the way in, so I'm gonna do my best. My name is James Flares. I live over on Toby Avenue. I've been here for just under 10 years. We moved here to find a peaceful place to raise our kids, you know, like everyone else. We love the area, we love the town. Some of you guys probably see me drive around my side-by-side, picking up trash with my daughter. That's us. But a few of the questions have been answered for me that, from the lawyer speaking and stuff. But I would like kind of propose to you guys that,
Sir, you gotta address that.
okay, well, propose to the town that, you know, maybe look at this, the future investment maybe in the plan ahead of the city and see what we're gonna do. So that's what's it called? The future land use and comp plans, and maybe see what we can actually do that would benefit all of us. Because I mean, for me, I moved here for the nature, to be away from the cities and stuff, have my kids run around their four-wheelers and play in the yard and stuff. And I love my neighbors. Like, we're all very much, and I'm sure you guys know, you know, it's like whatever you do in your yard, hey, have at it. As long as the U-Haul's not pulling up, I don't care what you do. You know, it's not affecting anybody. You guys enjoy your lives. That's what we're here for. But I do not want to see the town turn into what everything else is turned into. And like, I mean, I'm sure you guys know, as soon as you drive out in Palm Bay or Melbourne, all the anger and the yelling and all that stuff, you don't find it here. You find people that are friendly, and that's what we want to keep. I think that's what everyone wants to keep here. So that's really all I would say. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, in back.
My name is Ed Rozell. I've lived here about 4 years now, and I want to also echo, we moved here specifically to this area because it is what it is. We did not move here because we saw the idea that it would be developed into Palm Bay or Melbourne or what's going to happen to Micco or what's going to happen to Fellsmere, places like that. We moved here specifically so that we could live a nice, quiet country lifestyle. I want to address one thing that concerned me a little bit. Council's, one of the things council had out for consideration was that they were taking into account what was going to happen over on the Palm Bay side of Babcock Road. As we are in consideration of what's going to happen to Grant, that should not be considered at all. None of that should be taken into consideration. What happens in Palm Bay happens in Palm Bay. That's why people live in Palm Bay. Take into consideration what we have here and use that as your criteria, not what's going to happen over in Palm Bay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
My name's Kyle Houston. I live on Grant Road with my wife and our 7 kids. I'm a building contractor and a mechanical contractor. I know that you know, with the many uses they said would be there with dog grooming and flower shops. That's not what it's gonna be. I make my business off of commercial spaces and industrial spaces, but I, you know, I worked my whole life so that I could move to Grant in Valkaria. I was born in this town, I've lived here, my family's been in this town for, you know, 8 generations. So I do think it's disappointing to think that, you know, this is kind of like the last spot, it's the beginning of the end. And to see it become what everything else is would be a disappointment, and I don't think that's why people have come to this area specifically. I'd gladly drive another 30 seconds to Heritage Parkway to get whatever they may offer us on the corner of Grant and Babcock. I don't see the value. I think it's far more valuable protecting what we have because there's nothing else like it in Wall County. So that's my opinion. I'm definitely against it. I hope that doesn't happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. My name is Chris Poole. I live on Pepper Tree Street. And this is going to revolve mostly around the flume, the future land use map. The future land use map shows that these parcels might be used for commercial someday. However, the owner has not said that they have a plan to build anything. They haven't provided a site plan, infrastructure proposal, no clear benefit to the community. This looks like nothing other than a method of raising the land value, resale value for cash. They're gonna sell it. We're immediately gonna be back in here fighting with whoever the commercial property owner is at that time to reclassify the zone. There's no benefit to us right now, nothing that they can prove to us at this point. Now, I understand that that everybody agrees that it meets the comprehensive plan, but without the infrastructure to support it, nothing to show that they're protecting the environment, fitting in with nearby properties. It's all farmland and AU over there, and across the street in Palm Bay is just woods and residential areas. It's not gonna match anything that's right there at that corner. So again, like others have said, we need the actual intersection brought up. Let Palm Bay start building first before we start building our side if we're gonna do it. And the other thing I looked at, and I'm probably wrong here, and hopefully you can answer that, is I looked at the Burke-Harris Act. And basically they would be able to argue that we've unjustly done anything because we haven't approved this through the Burke J. Harris Act. It doesn't guarantee bringing up the value of a property just for resale. And although this may go to a court hearing at some point, my research has shown that in 90% of the cases, they don't get it. As long as we followed our comprehensive plan, as long as we're not fighting over the future land use map, because it can still be BU 1A for another 10, 20 years. It doesn't matter. Let's grow smartly and correctly in our environment before we turn it over to just line somebody's pockets. And that's basically all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, come on up.
My name's Christina Fleming, and I live on Grant Road. I wasn't going to speak, but here I am. I moved here 7 years ago. We drove by the house, and I fell in love with it because it felt like home. I grew up in Cocoa Beach, where houses were right next to each other, where there was businesses all right next to each other. I grew up next to the pier. I also lived in Merritt Island. I also bought a home that I still own in Melbourne, in downtown, and it's right next to the neighbors. I moved here because my husband lived here. His family lives 4 miles from our house off Braybrook. They lived here before the town became Grant Valkaria. They were here when it was just Grant. They weren't happy that they combined. We've since lost our patriarch of our family. So our matriarch, she has explained that she does not agree with this. She agrees that what could happen, not necessarily tomorrow or in 10 years or 20 years, what could happen is down the road on Grant, somebody might decide to rezone their property. And then now we have a doctor's office in the middle of Grant Road. Our children ride their side-by-sides. Their children ride our four-wheelers, our dirt bikes. We have fun. I grew up, like I said, on the beach side, so this is a new thing for me out here, and I love the independence of my yard. We own property behind us, we own property next to us, and I enjoy not having somebody to say not the right words. I don't like people up my butt and my neighbors. I don't want somebody going, I need some sugar. I don't need that. I enjoy my privacy. You can't see my house from the road, and I love that because my whole entire life, which has been almost 50 years, has been next door to somebody, and I enjoy having that privacy. I love that I get to meet my neighbors. My children are best friends with the neighbor kids next door, and I love that, but we also have our space. We're not right there next to each other, but I don't want a doctor's office. I don't want some other weird office. I don't care if it's a dog groomer or a florist. I don't want it in our neighborhoods. It's just strange. And it's just not what this town is. We are a small town, and it's nice. And I love the nature. It's wonderful. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Go ahead, come on up.
Ron Mallett, Raybrook Avenue. I wasn't going to talk tonight, but I'm only kidding. Actually, someone else said it very well. It was going to be my line that we're worried too much about what's going on around us. We've got to worry about Grant. Right now, that property is Grant. This is our chance to keep hold of what we got. Like many other people, I grew up in New York. I moved to Miami in 1980. I spent 40 years in Dade, Broward County till I moved to Grant. I love it here, and I plan on staying here for a long time. And I'm going to be at a lot of these meetings, and maybe one day I'll be sitting up there. Now, from what I understand is, for this thing to get voted down, it has to be unanimous. Is that what I read somewhere? That the vote on this has to be unanimous, or is it a majority?
Mayor, to approve this, it will take the concurring vote of 6 members.
How about to deny it?
It's just a majority to deny it.
Deny it, okay. I was just wondering, I read somewhere it said it had to be unanimous. It was last time, great, man. I love it that you guys could stick together and run it for us. We the people here are counting on you to do it for us. I understand the people here that own a property would love to sell it. It is for sale. Sell it now. Right now, what's going on is you're making enemies in this town. A lot of people are, and whoever ends up in there at this time is going to get pushback. And there will be some new people up here someday. This is going to go on for a long time. The property is for sale. Sell it for what you could get for it. And let the next person sit on it for 10, 15 years, 20 years. Let them build the road here. Let them build Palm Bay. Let them put in a traffic light. Let them build the roadways. And then come to whoever's sitting up here now and see what's going on. It might fit in then. Right now, it really doesn't fit in. But someone could buy it that's willing to sit on it and come in at a later time and ask us with a plan what they want to do. A lot of stuff that was said here on the presentation doesn't fit with me well. We don't know what the impacts are. Bottom line is we don't. A lot of information, water, sewer, police, all that stuff. That was just throwing information out there. It's not backed up. There will be impacts on all of that, depending on how that road is developed there, where you're going to have staging lanes to turn, where the entrance is going to be onto that property. Is it going to go on the Grand? Is it going to go on the Babcock? Are people going to be able to pull a U-turn to come back into it? That's all impacts. We don't know. We have no plan. But someone can buy the land. The land is for sale. And they could come back at a later time with plans, what they want to do. They could sell it. They could take their money for whatever it's worth. It's going to be worth more the commercial rating on it, but I don't think we're, as a town, obliged to make a commercial right now for this reason, maybe at a later time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, come on up.
Excuse me. I'm Matt McCauley. I also live on Grant Road. First of all, thank you everybody for your time. First time attending, but I know you guys have a difficult job, so I just want to say that first and foremost.
The microphone, please.
Yeah, sure. So, and I appreciate the council kind of educating us. I jotted down just a couple quick things, and I'm certainly not a lawyer. I'm just trying to digest this as much, probably everybody here. But first was low impact. I don't think rezoning this property is going to be low impact. Obviously, there's judging by how many people are here this evening, it's going to create a significant impact to those of us that live on Grant Road and the surrounding properties. I don't know Ms. Sullivan, but I understand that she owns the property that lives next door. I would obviously, I think she would feel fairly strongly that this is going to have a significant impact on her property. Secondly, I don't believe that this serves the needs of the community as well. Obviously, hearing from some people tonight, this is going to be a big impact on those of us that live around there. We have resources and abilities just to go down the road, and whether it's getting fuel or getting ice cream or whatnot, those amenities already exist. I don't see a need to change this property specifically for that. So yeah, I just wanted to stand here and first of all, again, thank you for that difficult job that you have, but also make sure that you guys understand that there's many of us that live on Grant Road and the surrounding areas that when we first got wind of this, obviously it's concerning to us. We don't want it to change what Grant Valkaria means to us. We're currently, my wife and I, we have the kids are in the back room, so we've got 5 kids, 4 foster kids living with us right now. And yeah, we want to keep, the reason why we came to Grant Valkaria was because of the community here, because it's a slower pace of life. It's a chance to raise our kids away from the hustle and bustle. And unfortunately, we feel like changing this property or any properties in the area and rezoning into commercial is going to change that. So thank you for hearing me and appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sherry and I live in Palm Bay. And my family, I'm trying to get out of Palm Bay and trying to take my chickens with me and a rooster I found. And we are looking for a place for my family and for my children to live with us because they're now 21, 20, and 19. And I did contact the owners. And I was shocked when they find out that they were selling the land. And I'm like, that's strange, you're agricultural. But then because they showed me that they were commercial, if you remember me. And we did find another plot that we're going to move to. And I like the family. I love that you guys get together like this and you have these meetings and people can speak up. And that's what I'm looking for. I want this. I want to get away from that. And I want this. And I would really love it if you guys would have considered.
Ma'am, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. So, family, it's important. And it would change everything. And what got me to look was because my son got a job at the bee farm on Perry. And I said, wow, this is great. This would be a great place to live. And then come to find out, my ancestors started here in Valkaria. If you know Valley Road, that was the Gurlitz. That's my great uncle Val. And I'm coming back home to where we started. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Yes, sir.
I'm Rich Forty. I live on the great road of Ponderosa. I have great neighbors. Right, Dan? Right, Susan? I see you back there. I've been in the aerospace industry for the past 40 years. I came here 34 years ago. I found a nice piece of property on Ponderosa, and I couldn't have been happier for the longest time. And then it started getting busier and busier in Palm Bay. They call it the Babcock Squeeze from Malabar Road all the way to St. John's River Parkway. All right, it was just in the news. They said they have $170 million debt that they got to pay for to get that road to a 2-lane highway. Yes, I got it in my pocket right here. So if anybody wants to hear it, I can pull it out and show it. But I find it kind of disturbing how much this place has grown, because I got people that, when they come down from all over the place, they all go to Vieira. And then when they come down here and they see this place, they come visit me and they said, wow, what a beautiful place. It's all natural. You got wild animals. I said, yeah, we just had a bobcat in our backyard the other day. Sorry. And then we had a couple of rattlesnakes. I said, it doesn't get any better than that, right? And originally, I'm from Long Island, all right? I watched the growth grow in my neighborhood. I went from a nice, beautiful town like this on Long Island, from farms, into a really bad neighborhood, quickly. It didn't take much time. And especially when they started putting up little stores like this. That's how it all starts, and then it just keeps growing. I don't want to see it. I still got like, 20 more years of my life. I want to keep it here, you know? So I just want to say thanks for all you guys do. And I don't believe this was grandfathered in, because I kept on hearing that for years. Oh, this is grandfathered in, this is grandfathered in. So I don't think this is grandfathered in, so we can go for it, and I'm glad we incorporated, like we did years ago, to stop this kind of stuff. And everybody knows about it. I see Dan all the time. And I go talk to him all the time. But I appreciate all you guys, what you do, and thanks again.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else from the public?
Old baseball coach of my son.
Okay, once we close it. Yes, ma'am.
Can I just ask a question?
Come on up. State your name.
Karen Tabor, Grant, operator. And again, thank you for meeting with me the other day. I really appreciate it. Have you decided if they have successfully met the 5 requirements yet?
No.
Okay. So is it after our discussions that you decide and
Yes,
review everything?
It will be tonight.
It will still be tonight?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to double check. It will still be tonight. Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right. We're going to close the public hearing and go to our attorneys. Have anything else?
Just for clarification purposes, the applicant's presentation said that staff approved it. Staff had no adverse comments, okay? So what that implies, I don't know. Secondly, the 5 criteria, which they're not up on the screen, but the 5 criteria are not a matter of proof, as I said. They're required to present information for your consideration of those 5 criteria. At the last meeting, it was determined that they didn't present the information for consideration. So tonight, they have actually at least addressed all 5 of those criteria for your consideration. And now it goes from them to you to determine if those considerations would justify a rezoning. Parker, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay, that's it.
That's all you have to
Want to say anything more?
say? Unless you have more, because lawyers always have more.
Oh, no.
All right, Dan, go ahead.
I would just like to say, as a point of clarification for everyone, can you bring up our map one more time? The map of the town, the one you had there with the broad now.
The future land use map?
The land use map. just want for everyone's clarification, we're talking, of course, about Grant and Babcock, which is the little pink area. Now, just so everyone understands, that's 3 lots along Grant Road that have 200 feet each, less than 200 feet each of Grant Road. So there's 600 feet on Grant Road. And I'm not advocating anything one way or other right now because we haven't discussed it up here. I'm just clarifying. There's a 600-foot span off Babcock. After that, nothing else can change to commercial. Everything is protected. That's what we did in the town. That's what we did with the town. How much money, if we fight this, we fight it, and we spend money, that's not the issue. But what I would spend money on, if anyone tries to develop beyond those 3 lots at 600 feet, that is sacred land. Nothing can be developed in any of that. That is the jewel. It is, you don't have to believe it, but that is the jewel of Grant Valkaria. So that's why we formed the town, not that anything, they can come because they have that thing. That's why they're asking. Whether it's granted, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that's why they're asking. No one else in that other area can ask for that. It's not even feasible to be asked, and it can't happen. Just so you understand, we're not starting a domino effect anyway, no matter what we do.
Either way, you're getting sued.
I'm not.
Okay, all right, we're up here,
That's
council.
what, just want you to understand, that color makes a difference. After that, it's all said, you talk to the lawyer, but it's all protected area.
Just, we respected everybody's, like, let's just, well, it's not a conversation, let's just have a discussion. And when we talk, let's just have one person talking at a time, please. Thanks.
So that's all, I'm just making the point that the theory that it's a domino is not correct. That is a protected beyond that, but so be it.
Go ahead, Rick.
Excuse me, I made some notes during the discussion, and also I made a few notes of my own before we came to the meeting. But, you know, back in 2011, this future land use map was adopted. That's 14 years ago. And if you go to the top of the map, you'll see it's in effect through 2025, which means we are in the future. At any time between 2011 and now, actually any time between 2006 and today, the applicant had every right in the world to apply for this zoning change, in my opinion. The future land use map is the map of how the town should develop in the future. We're 14 years into that future. As you can see, everything else in yellow, green is ills, everything else in yellow is low-density residential. You cannot ask for any commercial zoning in low-density residential. It's a fact. You can ask for it, but it's going to be denied because it would be a violation of the comp plan. You know, we have all sworn to office that we would uphold the charter. Nowhere in the charter does it say thou shalt not have any more commercial in this town. It just doesn't say that. You know, I understand the people are opposed. As Dan said, you know, Grant Road is approximately 6 miles long. We have a 600 by 600 area, 600 feet by 600 feet, that could go commercial if it's approved. It has the future land use for it. You have 45 acres surrounding it to the north and to the west that's already got commercial zoning. It's going to happen. This is not going to be an impact to the town. It's not going to add, 2.5 acres is not going to add the impact that 45 acres will. There will be a light there. When the applicant, whoever buys this property, and see, I have no problem with them wanting to get zoning to sell the property. everybody that owns a piece of property, regardless whether they bought it, inherited it, or whatever, was given to them, they have the right to sell it. They have the right to get the highest and best use out of it. You know, that's business, that's life. So I don't have, you know, a problem with somebody wanting to get it rezoned and sell. It's very common. It happens in every city in Florida, that before they sell property, if it's in a commercial land use, they try to get it rezoned. It makes the buyer aware that, yes, I can build, here's a list of things I can build. And they have some knowledge before they buy the property. Also, a lot of the concerns of the people are items that will be addressed during a site plan process. The site plan process is also a public hearing process. And, you know, I don't know, I guess that's all I have to say.
I lived here almost 30 years. When I moved here, there were no houses other than Karen's and mine on that street, just a couple. Down the other end of Braybrook where I live, there were no houses. Now it's all houses. When I moved here, I didn't want any more houses here because I moved here to the country. But you people all moved in, and we didn't stop you from moving in. Nobody came up and said you can't build a house here because we don't want you here.
Y'all already made up your mind.
All right, please don't shout out like that.
Yes, keep quiet.
No, you already know you left your mind in private, which is what I told you.
Sir, would you please get this guy out of here?
Yeah, we have enough interruptions.
Yeah, you're not here.
I'm going to remain silent.
No, you're not, because you're going to keep running your mouth.
This is a public hearing, Joe. It's a public hearing. Do you want to be sued too?
Come on, dude. Don't be a fair, just go. You said your piece, you got it on record.
I'll see y'all in court personally.
Oh, good work. Why someone stands up to these creeps?
Well, let me get back to what I was saying. And when this town, we became a town, was because we knew we were going to be taken over. This town was going to be destroyed. Because what he wants you to do, and we're no longer a town, you'll be Palm Bay. That's what you'll be. Palm Bay will take this town over in a snap. And it'll be what Palm Bay looks like now, because they'll rezone everything. So we fought to keep this town the way it is now. And all those maps and stuff, we did not approve them. The people who lived here in town, we brought all that stuff out and had it set up, and the people in town looked at all the maps and said, yes, that's what we want. This is what we want you to do. We didn't make that decision. The people in town at the time made that decision. They were the people who lived here all their lives, just like me, who've been here for 30 years almost. They were the people who decided what this map would be like. And there was only a couple pieces that had to be commercial there, and there's some commercial sites on Route 1. There's commercial sites also. And people built houses on them. And they were told when they built their houses that somebody could put an office in that house because it's commercial. And that's the only places there are commercial sites. That we did to protect the rest of the town. Nothing else can be made commercial in this town. There is no commercial land other than them sites and the ones on Route 1. So I don't know what everybody's complaining about. I really don't. Once that traffic light goes in, that site, that corner, and the traffic on Braybrook Road, on Grant Road is going to get just like it is on Valkaria Road, since they put the traffic light in there. And you can ask the manager how much more traffic is on that road. As soon as they put that traffic light, everybody from Palm Bay is going to use that as a shortcut. And we know that. But we can't stop that. There's no way to stop it. But we can hold everything else in the green and the yellow the way it is and keep it that way. And that's what we intend to do.
I hate to pull this on you, but I'm from Long Island too. I was born here. My parents, thank God,
I'm happy for many things that they did, but they moved me out of Long Island when I was 2. I was raised in West Melbourne, when West Melbourne was like Grant. Okay, then my wife and I got married, we moved to Grant in 1981, that's 44 years ago. I agree, with Dan, we should have stopped development a long time ago, but people bought houses, people bought land, built houses. I'm pleased with the trajectory that we've taken. And I think it's a property rights issue. People have every right to request a rezoning and sell the property for what they can. I mean, that's a property rights issue, and you wouldn't want somebody telling you how much money you could ask for your house. So let's be realistic here. Thank you.
I think everybody said what needs to be said. Property rights. This family, when the town was formed, the residents at the time decided to land on Babcock, and US 1 was going to be what it is. The descendants of those homeowners have a right to come to the town to try to reclassify that to, it's irrelevant on what monetary amount they can get for the property. It's their right to bring it to the town, and it's the town's right to decide if it meets those criteria or not. Now, personally, I understand what the attorney for the residents have said, but I haven't seen, to me, I haven't been convinced that there's no meat on the bone, shall I say, right? As far as what they plan on doing with the property. It sounds good, but until, I think it should have come, to be honest with you, they should have came to tonight and say, this is what we plan on doing with the property. And then we would have had a more educated, we could have determined exactly which direction we were going to go. But tonight, I just don't think they made their point on what they want to do with the property.
Push to lock, there we go. Don't know how to operate my mic. Apologize for keeping my head down here, just got some bullet points for everybody. Just kind of like thinking, as we were discussing, listening to everybody. We see the passion out there. Thank you guys for all coming out. We had to get extra chairs, so we really appreciate it. You guys all care about the town as much as we do. We like that there's no pizza delivery here, right? We don't mind going to get our pizza. We all want the same thing, and I joined up because I said, hey, I want to protect for my kids. I want to protect what we have here, and thinking that was some novel new idea, but everybody that's on the city council all agrees with me. So we all want what you guys want. The comp plan. So in 2011, thanks Rick, I didn't know when we actually did that, but the comp plan was established, and I wasn't privy to that. I was actually living in Palm Bay at the time, but I know that was what I had heard over a few of the meetings. They put a lot of thought into it. So the comp plan has to offer some commercial. Every town has to offer some commercial. So we said, okay, where are we going to put that commercial? Let's put it on as far west of the town as possible, and as far east on the town as possible. I mean, we all know there's commercial property already currently in the town. The biggest issue that I have, and the other thing too is, the last time that we met, before we got together and had mediation, was the concern about the gas station, right? So there's a gas station coming in. We're gonna have a Wawa in the corner, and we're gonna have people hanging on the Wawa, and so we addressed that with changing BU1A. We put a moratorium on it, right? And then we ended up addressing it. Okay, no convenience stores now in BU1A. and no gas stations in BU1A. The biggest thing that I have a concern with is what Tom discussed. What about the rights of the property owner? If the property owner had an opportunity, again, with the future land use, and the future land use is, at the end of the day, can be changed to commercial or BU1A. That's where the hang up is the property rights. Again, if anybody else had that property on the corner, they would have as equal rights to be able to change the zoning to commercial. So that is the concern. That is the concern that I have. Again, I want the same thing that everybody else wants here, but I also respect the rights of the property owner.
Yeah, I just want to say one other thing, and that's, I believe the applicant has addressed the 5 areas of concern that's required to rezone a property. They have to address those same items during the site plan process, and that's where you get the details. There's quite a few different uses that can go in BU1A. Those uses may create more traffic than another use. So the detail of those 5 areas are always looked at during site plan. If they don't address them adequately, or if they overburden or over-impact a specific item that's required, the council will have every right to deny the approval of the site plan. And that is how the process goes. First you get your zoning. Now you know your allowable uses. Next you come in with a site plan that has one of those uses that's allowed, and then you look at how it impacts everything. And you determine, do they have to put in a turn lane? Do they have to put in a traffic light? Do they have adequate fire protection? So all those detail items are looked at the site plan process.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
No, not right now.
Yeah, one more thing. Everybody said, well, it's going to be zone commercial. It's BU1A, which is the least invasive of the commercial, and basically, the staff can give you a list of the things that are allowed there, and we've got it down to, an office building or something, flower shop, stuff that has pretty much, has very low impact on the surrounding area. So it's not a big commercial warehouse or anything like that.
Do a Donald Trump store.
Go ahead, Dan. Please be quiet.
Yeah, I'll say also, when it started out, you all came because of a gas station, which was a real threat, and we appreciate it. It was something we missed. We reacted to that, as Mike said, with the moratorium, we changed it. They have now come back before us at the gas station, convenience store, any convenience store, it's out of the picture. That was what the main complaint was, and we reacted on that, and we stopped everything until we're at this point now. We're also, on the petition, big environmental concerns, and we understand that, but once again, it's property rights. I could buy that piece of property and scrape it clean. Survey line to survey line. And as Rich will attest to, I'm probably the most overgrown property on the block. When I built, you couldn't see another house. It was a 1-lane sand road and a mailbox. Lady made me put 1,200 feet back my mailbox because she wasn't going to drive down the road to give me mail. Since then, we're an intersection, stop sign, houses everywhere, and everyone's cleared their property. I'm probably one of the few that have the Palmetto Flat Pine Scrub area left that was on that block. So, well, yes, you're part of there too, but you're not near me. But the point is, everyone cleared it, and the people behind me cleared it. Lot line to lot line. Why did you do that? That's because I want to. Okay. And it's the same thing there. So the environmental concern is not totally justified. It's 2 acres and anyone can buy it and scrape it clean. I hope they don't, but they do. But everyone scrapes their property clean mostly, and I wish they wouldn't, but they do. That's property rights. That has to be respected. The gas station convenience store, we reacted and we took out. The biggest issue out of the 12 speakers that spoke was quality of life. And that is the main issue. That's what spoke. There wasn't one mention of convenience store. There was 2 on slight environmental concerns, which can or can't, depending who gets the property and what they do. 1 on traffic, and 8 speakers on the quality of life. So really, to me, this comes down, I don't think anyone that moved in, I've been here for almost 38 years, so it's the same thing. People that come 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, and think it's a beautiful place and we're going to ruin it, we're not. We've been here for, most of us,
The council's been here 20 years.
been here for, well, the town's been 20 years and prior too. So people that come now still see the same town, and you're still seeing it. When you get on Grant Road and drive, it's all open. When you get on any of the streets up and down, it's residential. It will never change from residential. That was our goal. As Rick said, we have to give a corridor on Babcock. We gave a corridor on US 1, and Old Dixie is our industrial. So if you want to see an adult nightclub, we can't say no, but they're going to have to put it in Old Dixie in the industrial zone, because that's how we secure keeping stuff out of the neighborhoods and keeping the town the same. So as far as if they met the criteria for what they want to do, they probably met it. I'm not happy with it. I think other than our people that are represented, I think everyone else there doesn't want to see any new development or any development, and I concur, and I think the council does too. But we have a somewhat responsibility, we now have a quasi-judicial responsibility to listen to those 5 criteria and decide that they describe enough to make the change. If we do let it go, it only goes for sale, and then we have total control, as Rick said, when they have to do a site plan, how they come in and out, how much they clear, what they do, and everything else will still come before us and the people. So to deny it, I don't think would change anything other than cost us some more money. And there is a pathway that could lead to more intense development. Now we do have control, and we've done what was asked to get rid of the convenience stores. Like I said, the environmental is not a big concern because someone can buy it as agricultural and scrape it clean. So I just want people to be aware that it has all changed, but what you're coming here now and seeing as your town is not going to change for ATVs, for wild area, for anything else. So please be aware of that. We're not trying to start something or change something. We have to look at the property rights, and we have to look at what we said 20 years ago of where we would allow this to happen so it did not intrude upon us and our way of life.
All right, I just want to say, I lived here in Grant for 29 years. I grew up in Brevard County. So I have seen Brevard go from a wonderful place to live to not so wonderful, except for Grant Park area. And that's why my husband and I moved here. And so we agreed with all of you on that point. We want to keep it that way. I know someone talked about the space around here. That's exactly what I want. We live in Cypress Creek, but we bought the land behind us and 2 lots next to us, just to keep the space. So I understand all of us up here want the same thing. We started the town to keep the same thing that you all want. And we heard it before. We developed the comp plan. With input from the community. In 2011, we approved it, and that's what we have to go by. The comp plan is required by the state. The state approves it. The state reviews it. So we need to go by the comp plan, and the comp plan had commercial on Babcock and commercial on US 1. And we tried to keep as low intensity commercial as you possibly could. And if you heard numerous times tonight, the commercial will not go back any further than the 2 lots or 3 lots that are along Babcock. It will not, it cannot. So, and again, I agree with the owners have property rights, just like you do. They're not going, they can't tell us what they're going to do because they probably aren't going to develop it. They just want to sell it. And you're right, maybe so, we don't know. But that, they have every right to do that, as I would. I could sell my lot and try to rezone it a little bit high. If it was AU, I could try to rezone it RR1 to sell it for a little bit more. And so could you. So I think they've answered the criteria for the state, the level that we're at now. Now, if someone comes and wants to put specifically something there, they're going to have to tell us all kinds of things. And we can, like someone said, we can't deny it at that point if it doesn't meet, you know, the safety concerns or any concern that we have. So I think I'm going to have to approve this because I see no reason. I haven't seen any reason not to. All right.
For a motion?
I think yes. You're looking for a motion.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 2024-09 for the rezoning to BU1A.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Hold on. I think it would be more appropriate for the motion to read, it's a motion to approve the reconsideration and approval of ordinance 2024-09.
So stated.
Okay, with a second. All right. All those in favor?
Roll call.
Oh, it's roll call, sorry. All right, is there any more discussion or any more?
Yeah. Jason, can you bring up those 5 criteria real quick? Yeah, I'm reading.
Okay. They addressed this in their presentation. Do you have a? Have any question about it? All right. Any more discussion? Then we're ready for a vote. Okay. And we're going to do a roll call vote.
Dan Rubino. Yes. Mike Bradaveric.
Yes.
Brent Jackson.
Yes.
Dan Fadden.
Yes.
Rick Hood.
Yes.
Tom Salmon. Lizette Kohler.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0 or 7-0. Sorry.
There being any more? Okay. You want to do a report? You don't have one? Okay. All right. We're going to adjourn. Okay, we need a motion to adjourn. We're finished with the business.
Make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.